Welcome to Last Week in AWS, the podcast. What the heck did AWS do last week? A lot, but here are the important ones. Today's episode is brought to you by Rubrik, who apparently thinks your cloud data deserves better than crossing your fingers and hoping ransomware doesn't find you. They protect your data across AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and even Oracle Cloud because someone has to. See, while you're busy explaining to leadership why that S3 bucket was accidentally public for 6 months, Rubrik is making sure you can actually recover when things inevitably go sideways. Data breaches averaged $4.4 million last year. That's a lot of explaining. Check out rubrik.com/SITC before circumstances require you to. Introducing Amazon Route 53 Global Resolver for secure Anycast DNS resolution and preview. They renamed Route 53 Resolver to VPC Resolver while launching Global Resolver because nothing says customer clarity like forcing everyone to relearn your product taxonomy like they just did with Security Hub to Security Hub CSPM, then launching a new thing called Security Hub. You know our trash naming? How can we make that somehow worse? AWS Lambda Managed Instances. Serverless simplicity with EC2 flexibility. So now you have serverless functions running atop servers plus a management fee of 15% and additional complexity. Aren't there a bunch of open source projects that purported to do this that nobody uses because, honestly, why would you? I'm going to have to sit with this one for a while. Preview of AWS Interconnect Multi-Cloud. This is either transformative or a waste of everyone's time, and it's impossible to tell which because the one thing that matters most to settling that question is what's the price? They aren't disclosing it yet, so at the moment it occupies a superposition of excellent and crap. Please collapse the waveform so we know which one it is. Introducing AWS Transform Custom. Crush tech debt with AI-powered code modernization. The sign at reInvent said, eliminate tech debt forever with AWS Transform. I will bet you a freaking house that it won't. Any takers? It's a good feature, but the marketing is so far over its skis that it's already back in the lodge, sitting in the hot tub by now. CloudWatch introduces unified data management and analytics for operations, security, and compliance. I think it's priced reasonably, and I think I've activated it properly in my test account, but honestly, it was so confusing to enable that I'm not entirely sure about either of those. Yes, the problem might be that I'm an idiot, but it's not like I'm the dumbest customer they're ever going to have using this thing, so I'm a useful test case. Amazon EC2 P6e GB300 Ultra servers accelerated by... Okay, I'm not going to read off part numbers that look like a computer wound up getting attacked by a cat. P6e instances are available. It's hardware that is so expensive you need to contact your sales representative just to ask the price, but it doesn't matter because it's not available to most customers who don't rhyme with schmanthropic. Introducing AI Factories. AWS will now rack servers in your data center, charge you cloud prices for on-prem hardware, and call it innovation. Nothing screams digital sovereignty quite like letting AWS control the infrastructure while you pay the power bill and real estate costs. Oh, and if its upstream connection to a region goes down for too long, it basically becomes a space heater. Introducing DevOps Agent in Preview, Frontier Agent for Operational Excellence. It's an AI that investigates incidents at 2 a.m. Sounds great until you realize it's learning from your messy runbooks and spaghetti code, so it's going to be just like your worst engineer if you aren't careful with it. I want to like it, but I've seen so many abortive attempts at building these things over the past 15 years that my knee-jerk response is, there's no way this can work. Prove me wrong, please. Amazon S3 Storage Lens adds performance metrics, support for billions of prefixes, and export to S3 tables. I'm really happy about how much of my own crap-ass tooling S3 Storage Lens has managed to deprecate. This is a great release, and I'm excited to suddenly present to my colleagues as a dark S3 usage wizard. Build multi-step applications and AI workflows with AWS Lambda durable functions. We have step functions at home. This is going to take me kicking the tires on it before I have an educated opinion because last week was just a smidgen busy. Skip the stressful war rooms and go straight to the answers with Sumo Logic Dojo AI. When you add Dojo AI agents to your team, they get context from your live production data. They deliver potential threats and actionable insights, guiding your investigation to the root cause. Use natural language to ask Mobot your most pressing questions as he brings in the right agent for that point in the investigation workflow. Learn more at sumologic.com/solutions/dojo-AI. S3 increases the maximum object size to 50 terabytes. Storing a 50 terabyte file in S3 means that this unlocks 4 excellent use cases and thousands of absolutely monstrous ones like the data warehouse is now a SQLite file. Guess which one I'm more excited about? S3 Tables offers intelligent tiering as well, which is genuinely useful for analytics workloads with unpredictable access patterns. Be aware, though, that you've got to not reset the timer every time your workload runs, so you've got to be smart about how you're querying this database. And a massive React vulnerability, CVE 2025-55182, which means there's a huge discount in your AWS bill once you leverage this to run in others' accounts. Previously, that kind of bill pro tip was only available to Azure customers. And finally, introducing database savings plans for AWS databases. That's right, database savings plans are here. RDS, Aurora, Elasticache, Neptune, DocumentDB, TimeStream, DynamoDB, the whole family. I would like to thank the Academy, my parents, and the heat death of the universe, which we almost reached first. I have been asking for this since 2019. 2019. My hair was a different color. I had different enemies. The world was younger. Some of you listening to this weren't even in cloud yet. You were innocent, unscarred by the RI management experience. For 6 years, AWS said just use reserved instances for each service separately, like some kind of medieval warlord. That's like telling someone to use different currencies for each type of purchase. Oh, you want to buy groceries and gas? Better have separate wallets with separate exchange rates and separate commitment terms. Totally reasonable. Very normal. Compute got savings plans in 2015, the same year I started asking for database coverage. But databases? No, that had to wait until 2015. That is 6 years. The entire MCU Infinity saga took less time. We went from Iron Man to Endgame faster than we went from, hey, maybe databases should have this too, to today. Now look, I'm not saying AWS moves slowly. I would never say that, but I will say that geological epochs have been sliding into my DMs asking if AWS needs motivational coaching. You folks have heard me complain about this so many times that you have PTSD. Every time a database service launched, every time savings plan came up, every time someone asked about cost optimization, there I was, like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets, heckling from the balcony. Where are the database savings plans, I would ask. Wouldn't it be nice if databases work like compute, I'd muse. Is this the year, I would wonder, hope dying a little bit more each time. Some of you don't remember the before times. Those were dark days of managing 7 different reserved instance portfolios, each with their own commitment terms, their own utilization tracking, their own special blend of vendor lock-in. It was like having 7 different gym memberships and you couldn't transfer between locations. This is the pricing commitment flexibility we've had for EC2 since 2019, but for the databases that power literally everything that we do where your actual business lives. Our eyes were commitment without flexibility, a prison of your own cost-optimized making. Now, we have commitment with flexibility across services. You can move between Aurora and RDS without sacrificing your savings commitment. You can shift from Elasticache to DynamoDB without starting over. The year is 2025, going on 2026. We can prompt AI to write code. We can finally manage database commitments like rational human freaking beings. What a time to be alive. I started asking for this as a young man with dreams. Now I am old and bitter, but I have database savings plans, so I guess everything worked out. Anyway, database savings plans, they're here, they're great. They only took 6 years in the collective screaming of the entire FinOps community. Thank you, AWS. This is huge, this is meaningful, this will save companies real money and real operational headaches, but also, what took you so long, you absolute maniacs? And that's what happened last week in AWS. Thank you for listening.